Copyright disclaimer. It's December while I'm making this video, and I'm participating in Thankmas again this year. Link in the description if you want to donate. There'll be information on streams for fundraising in the community tab, so make sure you're liking and subscribing and ringing the bell and all that nonsense. If you're unable to donate, 20% of my December revenue will be donated as well, so you're contributing just by watching. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Bill. I didn't think this video was going to take so long. So today I wanted to watch and rank every episode of Bluey. I'm 3 weeks into this idea and just realized that there are a lot of episodes I don't have access to by watching this through Disney Plus in the US. So if you want a part 2, let me know. I'm ranking these by how emotionally they affected me. So from a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being happy and good and warm inside, and 10 being, oh no, I need a break. I really underestimated this show going into it. I also watched every episode only once. So I hope you enjoy the video. Like I said, I'd love to do a follow-up on the episodes that I can't have access to, or doing a video with this kind of format with other shows I've covered in the past, like Steven Universe, Adventure Time, The Owl House. Let me know. So we'll be starting with the episodes that make me happy. The episodes in the middle are kind of my, I got through it just fine. And 10 being this destroyed me. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Don't forget to like and all that good stuff. Ouch. These episodes of Bluey made me feel nice, happy, and warm inside. This episode is just art. The sun is a warm hug. I just love it. I love the music. I love the visuals. I love the message. The sleepy time jokes are balanced wonderfully. I adore this episode. I love keeping an eye on the kid who doesn't want to play yet, and then finding a way for everyone to start playing together in this perfect preschool society. There's something so beautiful about the dad being so committed to character and world building when he's playing pretend with his kids. Beach Day! A taste of freedom and independence, following literally in our parents' footsteps. This episode is just all about support. Be brave when you're ready to be brave. Bluey versus the outside and the beautiful nature shots that I absolutely love. Yay being brave. Bingo versus conditional affection. This is the Bluey Saw episode. I just love the ending of this episode. Who's the Undertale nerd? Is that Sans? Thank you for teaching the importance of sleep and that consideration doesn't always mean sacrifices. Despite being shocked when Bluey betrayed Bingo, I love climbing Mount Mom and Dad and working together. This gives me divorced dad energy for the day. I love the processing behind playtime, and time away or time for yourself is important. Nothing's wrong with giving the kid being left out a little love. This is an obvious Frasier ripoff. Dad's being a jock. Bingo reveals herself to be the alpha. Nana's house is of love and chaos. What happened to Grandpa? Bingo just destroys the meta in her short-lived spin-off. There's something so heartwarming about Bluey shipping her parents. Having your partner's back is also romantic. This made me want a Mom and Dad episode so bad. The family Dungeons and Dragons Minecraft game, peak fun. Dude, Team Dad. Instructions are just guidelines. I love the experience of Bluey watching Bingo grow up. I am a little worried, is the swing retirement or is the swing death? Ironically, Bluey getting confused for a boy is what got me motivated to make this video. Also, this is me every time I've been asked to watch one of my friends as kids. I also love the message of learning to trust again. Oh, the mentor buddy system. Is the river hormones? Is it about stress? Is this de-stressing conversation just platonic? I love it can go either way. What if we held hands in front of the Lily Pillies? I love removing the concept of shame while we embrace consequences of not doing what's right for ourselves, and the humanity in our parents also cultivating bad habits. Basically just reminding us that this is human behavior. My motion sickness prevents me from relating to this episode. I love the visual of Bluey getting bored in the car just to ride a fake one at a gas station. Having that little armrest table cup holder thing in the back seat was legitimately a game changer as a kid. Love this episode. Bluey breaks the meta to acknowledge not everyone is going to be like Bandit and Chili, and that's okay. Be inspired by these characters and be yourself. A warm reminder for parents watching the show to go easy on themselves as well as for kids. This is just The Wizard of Oz, but better. I love the power behind being you. I do wish Calypso had given Bluey the typewriter because this story needs to be published. Hilarious. I feel bad for Lucky's dad, but you gave Bandit a nature shot. I love those moments. Oh, it's just heartwarming and a reminder that you're never done growing or being fascinated by the world if you let yourself. This episode's just hilarious. I'm trying to think of a good The Last Unicorn joke here that no one will understand. Better Call Saul. This unicorn is a jerk. The first time I worried if Chili is okay. I love learning to juggle fantasy and reality. Oh, the rain. Just Satisfying music and animation, Bluey becomes a literal element, double rainbow all the way across the sky. This episode is perfect. For some reason, this made me think more about teaching to drive at first than playing pretend. I love seeing a parent and child communicate clearly, set a timer, have an agreement, have fun, learning that it's okay when responsibilities take us somewhere else. I love respecting the handicap spot but driving your car through a store. We do a little crime. Ew, wash your hands and yourself. I love being more direct. I love illustrating when we're too busy and talking about shorthand and making sure that there's no miscommunication or confusion there. Talking out the solution always makes me feel warm inside. Are mom and dad hungover? Chilly experiences what it's probably like for parents to watch Bluey. Having all this farting is going to bother me later. However, I adore the message of love despite the faults. It's just real. People are gross. And now for episodes that still made me feel very warm inside, but just had the slightest whisper of emotional duress, starting with the pilot. I love the power of sharing. I didn't find it funny when Dad accidentally waterboarded himself. Dad becomes Ultron for a day. The death scene upset me a little bit. Bluey learns about fair labor. I won't lie, it's impressive that this show was able to capture some single dad energy in a family that doesn't have a divorce. I stand Petty Bandit. I wish stores were this fun. This episode stressed me out a little bit. I thought Dad genuinely had lice. I couldn't figure out if it was real or not. Also, let Bingo speak. Alfie deserves Employee of the Year. Dad deserves the cheekiness. Having worked in family restaurants in the past, I love the concept of just an employee doing his best and making this family's day all the better. Don't think I didn't notice that Pug is a puppy of divorce. I love seeing Bluey grapple with a need for control, but adjusting and going with the flow, because that's also important. Also, the return of Army Boys. I won't lie, if the pizza place I'm ordering from says they can see me, I'm hanging up immediately. Also, mushrooms are the best pizza toppings. Fight me. I won't lie, I was a little hurt because I never got a kid car growing up. Also, yay, we stimulated the Bluey economy. A classic case of finders versus keepers. I love the idea of rewards tasting literally sweeter after hard work. I too would push my family down the stairs for some ice cream. Also, the birth of my distaste for Judo and her family. It's called parenting, Wendy. Hands off my man! These episodes of Bluey started to stress me out a little bit. A lovely nod to the people who work hard in the medical field. I did start to wonder where they got such a bad hospital experience from, and that made me stressed. Bluey will grow up to be a Soulsborne gamer. Get good, everybody. This is pro gaming. Burger Shop. Bluey does this a lot. I love when the show essentially kind of breaks the meta for me and shows a hole in the logic of these parents. A lot of the show is very idealistic. I wish I was treated this way as a child. I want to be this kind of adult for people. I love just breaking that meta and like, oh yeah, like Bandit's not always going to get it right, just like how the book isn't always going to get it right. But also taking the time to go, sometimes I, the adult, have to intervene here. I love this episode a lot. It's very cute and it's very informative. Bluey against the machine. Won't lie, Dad's tactics made me a little anxious, but I love the lesson of focusing on the risk as much as you're focusing on the reward. Great lesson. I love exploring the power dynamic and making sure your kids aren't being brats. I did start to panic that they were going to run away on the bus, not play bus stop. I love the metaphor with the trampoline and the safety net. I also started to get stressed and couldn't tell if Dad actually had to work or if he was just being adorable. Is this the Harambe episode? All I wrote here was Harambe ? Stockholm Syndrome, period. Unregulated zoos are cruel. This whole episode fed my big brother energy and I just wanted to fight Bingo's bully so bad. I also like to believe Bingo's just playing the long con for revenge. Love that we're learning to share. I wish we'd picked a different flavor for these dogs to eat than chocolate. Also, when I was a kid, we called this a toy funeral. This crooked reality has not corrupted Bluey yet. Promises are important, but not always possible. It's more about trust and responsibility. Chess is a lot. Love the ending. It's okay to be worried, but just let them be kids. I do like to point out the patriarchy whenever I play chess. The tactical Wii. I had a hard time sleeping as a child. I still have a hard time sleeping now. Kids cooking just stresses me out. I love the message, but ooh, man, it stressed me out. My distaste for Judo and her family has increased today. Don't you dare disturb Chili. It is okay that she needs a minute. Won't lie, there was a part of me that related a little too much to Grandpa in his fight against modern technology. These episodes of Bluey put me right in that middle zone of doing just fine. And nothing's wrong with that. Barbecue. Hosting is a nightmare. Bingo is not a salad bar. What are the parents drinking? Yay, marriage equality. Bingo's first 0-star Yelp review. I liked markets. I enjoyed the Santa problem being addressed via the Tooth Fairy, and then also talking about lifestyle or possibly even allergies, buyer's remorse, and the economic cycle. Cute stranger danger? Yes, the stress of playtime, but working it out in the end is worth it. I enjoy the sentiment of doing your research, but flossing. This confirms to me that Bluey watches anime. The real floppy was the egg we made along the way. I don't like feeling like mom and dad are fighting, but it was funny to see Bluey form an HOA. Sean. Sean is chaos, but yay responsibility. I can't tell if this is gentrification or a discussion of toxic masculinity. Maybe both? Genderfication? Bingo is a girl boss and Bluey is a menace. We live in a blue society. I can't stop laughing at the idea that nobody wants to be the queen. Return of the Grannies. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed. 2 grannies, too furious. This race was rigged, but good exercise. I'm a small but hardy breed. Also, Judo is a jerk. You were not special. This kid is too loved. Welcome to the real world. Bingo turns her back on a strike. I love trying to find the balance between everyone has bad moments and that doesn't make you bad, and also you shouldn't act out. I love seeing Bingo learning how to navigate Bluey when she's bossy. Also, yay standing up to tyranny. I wish my first curse word was cute. Yes, the participation trophy problem. It's almost like the goal is self-esteem and not pretending everybody wins. This episode is adorable, and I wish I could relate to it. This is a really big house, a lot of divorce energy at times, but I'm team parents. I love the concept, but we talk about farting way too much. This message is great, and I agree with it. It just had a little too much I paid energy, if anyone remembers that meme. I also want to acknowledge that it is not this show's fault that Inside Time has changed drastically. Backpackers was equal parts real and cute. Your vacation is probably never going to go perfect, and that's totally okay. As a travel prep stressor, I appreciate talking about travel stress prep. Asparagus was clever and cute, but it also made me extremely anxious. Dinner time rules were always a big thing in my family, so the stress did balance out the cute, because there was a lot of cute and I had a lot of stress. These episodes of Bluey started to stress me out more than they made me happy. Finally, we're getting to the important things, like what happens if a balloon touches the ground. Now we're entering the stress taking over the good vibes. I audibly gasped when this balloon popped. Bravo. I didn't think I'd care that much. My stress kind of overtook this one. You missed a formative memory and now Bingo thinks leaves can move. I love discussing the reality of not everyone's going to be there for every moment of your life. There was also part of me that thought if this is your first letdown, it's a pretty good first letdown. Judo, more like Jerko. Judo probably doesn't get a lot of attention at home, and is still a jerk. Peer pressure is real. The struggle of keeping friendships as an adult is real. There's also levels of stranger danger, not going to a stranger's home, not bringing a stranger to your home. Didn't take away from the cute, but I appreciate the element of safety involved. Clever, beautiful, insightful message about how everyone has things they need to figure out, and life is about learning, and learning can be hard, but also finding your own way through it. Not only finding inspiration from other people when they struggle, but also normalizing encouraging people through their struggles instead of putting them down. I too was a late bloomer when it came to learning to ride a bike, so this one filled me with joy and pain. Thank you for addressing understaffed hospitals. Really hit home for a lot of reasons. This episode is a part 2 to the Bluey cinematic universe. This episode touches on anything from gender roles, which I appreciate, the challenges of single parenting, which I appreciate, shout out to single parents, as well as dating and compromise, work-life balance, and how not everyone is going to want the same thing as you. Veranda Santa, more like vengeful Santa. If nothing else, I love the concept of dismantling the illusion that the gifts you receive are a reflection on how good of a person you are. This is the episode where I got more concerned about Chili's well-being. Bluey and Bingo are emotionally manipulative little monsters. Bandit and Chili do indeed have true love. I will die on that hill. This episode of Bluey is about taxes and benefits. Bluey gets tired of all this nonsense and attempts a hostile takeover. I was worried that Dad was getting laid off. I don't know. There's something about this that's too real. Oh my god, that Chattermax. This episode made me want to apologize to my mom and my grandparents for every annoying toy I ever had that made sound. We also see Bluey learning to focus on her own and that nobody puts her down when she gets distracted. Yes, it's frustrating, but no one made her feel less than, and I loved seeing her figure it out for herself. This episode hurt, but seeing Jetpack Bingo stopped me from spiraling emotionally. It could just be on my mind a lot. I was worried that Dad got fired. I love the message that growing up is hard, but it's important to know that it's not the end of childlike wonder or having fun. I was confused that we didn't return the ball. These episodes of Bluey hurt me emotionally. Oh, my sweet, sweet Bluey. I too have a fear of divorce. Cheese and jam? Someone's got to explain that to me, or maybe I should just try it. I don't know. I love even exploring visually that it's boring if everybody is exactly the same. The pain of Big Bingo did not outweigh the fun of Mini Bluey for me, unfortunately. This episode was cute, but I was the last one to get picked up from daycare a lot, and in the winter when the sun goes down really fast, it's hard not to tell yourself you've been forgotten at that age. This one took me back to that place. However, it also gave me the beauty of seeing the parent frantic to get to the child. My takeaway from Takeaway was pure stress. Now I'm hungry and I'm crying at letting kids be kids. Bluey became the least favorite child when she decided to start picking favorites. This was almost a 1 until that ending, the ripple effect of Daddy Drop-Off. Seeing the kids prep to have fun and in a good mood, inspiring the new kid to have fun and make a new friend. It's just the impact you can have on this world. Things you can never even fathom that you've contributed some good to. It was beautiful. This was almost a 1, and then that ending made it a 9. As of recording this, I still don't know where I'm going to put this on the list. There is something so accessible and beautiful about Army. Obviously, it's applicable to a lot of different experiences. I appreciate not only taking the time to illustrate this in the show, but also normalizing it. I just really adore this episode. It makes me fluctuate between ouch, my heart, and ooh, my heart feels so warm and happy inside. I really love this episode. Sticky Gecko. Seeing Mom so frustrated, mad, take a moment, give up, we're not going, never mind, we are going. Mom snapping and needing a break was real. Communicating why it's important to go, also why we're dragging our feet. I love the emotional honesty in communicating, keeping our plans, but also talking about why we're scared or nervous or not wanting to go. Beautiful lesson here. Won't lie, it took me a while to realize and remember the science behind Australia Christmas time is warm, and that's why they're going swimming. I was very confused. I'm like, you get an extra Christmas? There was also something emotionally challenging about realizing I'll never get this and how much I wanted a big family holiday as a kid. All right, here we go. These are the episodes where I legitimately had to stop, get some water, and take a break from watching Bluey. Something had to be done to help my emotional headspace after watching these episodes. Yoga Ball. For some reason, I thought Bingo had appendicitis or illness building up and going on. I was really stressed for her well-being, and then speaking up and saying something and talking about what's wrong. And yeah, sometimes you are a little too young, and sometimes parents are gonna forget that, especially when there's multiple kids. And like this one I can be a little rougher with because she's older and bigger and I need to be more conscious of the younger one. It was sweet and beautiful and enriching, and boy do I feel that. Oh, Bingo, you little champion. I don't know why Bingo was in the hospital. It still stressed me out, but man, someone making a comfort video as well as someone watching a comfort video, yeah, you bet this totally hit home. It destroyed me. That's all I want to do. I just want to make other people feel a little better. I can't make your problems go away, but maybe if I can just make you smile or laugh or distract you for a little bit, it's just lovely. You're throwing away Bluey. You threw away Bluey, and then I nearly threw up. Yes, humble yourself. Yes, the world is flawed. I also love the power of changing your perspective, adding some information, consideration for the paper being recycled and becoming something else, learning that it's not reflective of you to hang on to every little thing, the fear of being replaced, thrown out, not being good enough, touching on those themes, being constructive, changing one's perspective, adding information to change one's perspective, acknowledging the validity in what Bluey is feeling. All beautiful things. Won't lie, I thought Copycat was just going to be a cheeky, fun little episode. And then pain, sadness, death. Those things are not only inevitable, but they jump out at you at any moment, unexpected, just like the writing of this episode. It's perfect. And also addressing that how you handle death will have an impact on how other people handle death. And seeing the, no, I don't want to pretend everything's okay, and seeing Bluey process what happened through playtime and reality and kind of recreating it. And it was just, oh man, I'm okay. It was just beautiful. Like the parents want you to feel okay, and it's understandable to want to help Bluey change the ending, but seeing Bluey embrace what happened in such a healthy way, it's reflective of her parents, her upbringing. This is what it's all about right here. Life is hard. Death is inevitable. Seeing a parent handle something in a healthy, constructive way, and then that begetting a child doing the same was fantastic. Oh, I'm crying just thinking about it. I treasure the fact that we're growing up in a world where we can talk about all the different elements of birth and complications, and the normalization in this was moving, genuinely moving. Also touching on the fact that someone is not going to see or understand or be capable of every lens and every perspective, kind of stepping in it was very human. I love the part 2 of this as well. I love the humanity in not understanding the situation and wanting to play and save the doll. Like it works on someone who's ignorant but not in a cruel way, while also touching on, like, you can't just fix everything. This episode is so layered and inviting to a lot of difficult conversations that don't need to be that difficult, while not taking away the impact of it. I'll just say it, I ship future Bluey and future John Luke. This episode is adorable. You can't change me. I don't even speak French, and I knew what was going on and where it was going, and I love the message and the sentiment, and it's okay for Bluey to still be sad and miss somebody. Oh, that final scene gut punch was just beautiful. Not even talking about harsh life lessons during a bushwee was gonna pull me out of my emotional funk, but I appreciate you trying. Daddy, why did you eat my fries? Or I guess, Daddy, why did you eat my chips? Bingo learns to stop being a beta. A $20 yes no button in this economy was a little jarring, but the voice inside versus the voice outside, making sure you're saying what you mean, making sure you're not talking over or taking away, seeing the family dance for Bingo. There's a lot to be said about this show, but seeing a kid's emotions and feelings being taken seriously and apologizing and doing what you can to fix it is just lovely. One of the most beautiful Mother's Day episodes I've seen since the Rugrats Mother's Day special. We're getting lots of lore here about Bandit and Chili and how they met and how they proposed. And then I started to realize the implication of the popped balloon holding each other's hand, whether we want to explore the theme that Bluey might be a rainbow baby, or even just this is the stress that parents can feel that something might happen, and wanting to wait to announce your pregnancy until like the first couple months in case something happens. Like, there's so much emotions, and this isn't the first time nor the last time they're going to normalize a stigmatized conversation that at least was stigmatized when I was growing up, whether it's about the stress of a complication in a pregnancy or even having a complication during a pregnancy. Seeing Bingo blame herself for a bad Mother's Day and then blame herself for the balloon popping, it just hits. I don't have kids. I've never tried for kids, but like, that spoke to me. Humanizing and normalizing a pain, an emotion, a stress, and then seeing your kids learn to be strong and brave because you've been strong and brave. I let myself cry. I pick myself up, dust myself off, and I carry on. I absolutely adored this episode. I did not adore the screaming crying that I did after this episode. I didn't expect this many feelings from this show, I won't lie. Oh, good. And the next is mom school. The metaphor that can be placed on making sure that the one balloon that had helium that Bluey needs to take care of, pretending that it's their children, and like the weight to kind of balance it out, but it doesn't make the balloon all the way hit the ground. It's not a quote cure. It's about finding a way to help, to find balance, to be there to nurture, help, and grow, and also learning when to let go. It means a lot. Nothing is wrong with that balloon. Seeing Bluey smack all those balloons around with a stick really makes this metaphor aggressive. But good God, it was valuable. Fly high, Greenie. Oh, and movies. As silly as the children's movie was, and the magic talking pine cone was hilarious. Seeing Bluey overcome the fear of being in the movies, and there being like possibly even like a sensory thing, and the importance of media analysis as Bandit shrugs it off at the end. There's an importance in media analysis, like I'm doing right now, like we're doing right now. I love seeing the story resonate with Bluey. It's touching, it's inspiring. It's my favorite thing about media, helping people feel less alone. It's beautiful. I love this episode. Ooh. And then Bluey had an episode about your grandpa and reminding you to take care of yourself, please. Awesome. Hurt me, wounded me. Personally, it balances itself so well. Like, I don't want to rest. You have to. I'm not ready for you to go yet. You need to eat your seeds. You need to grow up big and strong. Like, taking care of yourself. This episode's perfect. It's so perfect that I'm willing to overlook the possibility of Bluey and Bingo's grandpa being some sort of doomsday prepper. Oh, duck cake. Much like Sticky Gecko, seeing Bandit just ball up and have a cry and being stressed out and overwhelmed is helpful as an adult. I feel like sometimes there's a pressure that we put on ourselves to have it all figured out and not have bad days. And nope, adults are going to have just as many obstacles as everybody else. We're still learning and growing. This is our first time being an adult. You know, I also love seeing Bluey learn the value in helping and cleaning, whether it's the value of a clean space or reward for doing work that comes from within instead of the stickers, but also just seeing, hey, by doing this, it's not just a chore. I'm helping. It's less about a chore or being forced to clean up. And it's like, I made the day easier for everybody. That shift in perspective and the pressure of wanting everything to be perfect, but then also the beauty of letting it go and appreciating your duck cake for what it is. And then part 2, Return of the Duck Cake handstand. This hurt. There's 50 D storylines going on in the background. There's so much chaos and going on. Bingo's just trying to do a handstand. The party is busy. Everyone's doing something. Everyone's talking and having fun. No one's being malicious or intentionally neglecting Bingo. The irony of it also being her own party is really heartbreaking. Also, while Grandma is being ignored and don't worry, just sit down and like, well, I want to help. Like, I don't want to feel useless. And I don't know. I promise I'll call my grandma once I'm done recording this, but seeing a grandparent kind of like be there for a kid is always going to hit me in my core. And I don't know, it just comes together in such a beautiful way, and it's just so lovely. What did happen to that grandpa, though? Ooh, baby race. Already being down the rabbit hole of Bandit and Chili having possible prior attempts to conceive a child aside, feeling the competitive nature turn into a worry. Why isn't my baby crawling, walking, leaning, taking steps? Why are you rolling? Is something wrong? Going to the doctor all the time. There's just such a humanity in that stress. This episode also made me a 100% Chili stan and a Judo and Judo's entire family anti. But I love seeing like a child excel in one way and take time in another, and learning to kind of move through that, process your feelings, let it go. The doctor being reassuring, and then learning to stop making this a competition and just focus on your kid. I do not envy parents. This was a rough one, and I don't even have kids. As a child of divorce, I've gotten a lot of mixed messages, not only about holidays, but my own birthday. And yes, sometimes people have forgotten. The parents forgetting Easter already hits on a lot of abandonment issues, a lack of trust in the scavenger hunt. Are we being led on a fun game, or did the Easter Bunny forget? That was devastating. The letter was hilarious, but also like, oh, look at that. We sometimes there's holes in the beautiful parenting. Like, I love the humanity of they tried their best and it didn't seem to work. Also, another way to tackle the Santa problem. Even though you feel like you've been forgotten, even though things don't feel fair or balanced, or other kids get to do XYZ, you are not forgotten. I think this also does a good job at exploring more of what I like to call the Santa problem, but focusing more on the emotional headspace of it. I just loved it. Growing up with siblings made bedroom hurt a lot. I did start to wonder if this nursery was being kept in the hopes of having a third baby. I've gone down a dark rabbit hole. I don't know if I'm the only one. Has anyone else gone down the rabbit hole of, was the nursery being kept because they wanted a third child and couldn't? Genuinely asking. I loved seeing the we don't need to grow up quite yet, still needing each other. We're not ready to have our own rooms yet, but it's comforting to know that that's there. It was lovely. It was sweet. I just wept the whole time. Curry Quest hurt. It's one of the most beautiful explanations of the hero's journey storytelling concept. Also, Australia has scary animals. I keep forgetting about things like magpies. Shout out to that part of the world. I'm surprised we didn't get episodes of Life without Bandit. I loved the concept of letting go. I loved the concept of this being an obstacle. 6 weeks feels like forever. Bluey's scarf being finished by the time Bandit got back was also a nice little touch in the background that I noticed. It's important storytelling. It's a beautiful lesson, and it just made me weep. I too find comfort in the hero's journey at times, that, oh, even fictional characters go through hardships and obstacles. And then when I grew up to learn that there are stories written by other people, oh, you must have felt the same way as me at one point. It just worked really nicely to blend my love of media and storytelling with a beautiful life lesson. Ooh. Stop throwing away Bluey Part 2. I've never wanted harder to just reach through the TV and tell Bluey that, hey man, sometimes adults can't figure out how to express how much people mean to them too. Good thing you're tough. I am not. I love both the worry of not being good enough from having your drawing covered up on the fridge and that being an unintentional thing. That made me scream and gasp. But then also the struggle of wanting to articulate how much someone means to you, how important they are, how happy they make you feel. The trust in no matter what you do, this person loves you back. It's important to remind somebody at any age you can draw a dot. It doesn't matter if your drawing is good or bad, but also nothing's wrong with wanting to put in effort to express how important this person is to you. The story of Bandit and Chili. I love the humanity and reality of Bandit being a jerk when he was a kid. It was very shocking, but also not surprising. Like, yeah, I wasn't a good teenager. I wasn't a good kid all the time. Like, yeah, like you need to learn and grow. And there's also something to be said about luckily he wasn't being a jerk in front of Chili if that was Chili, who was dressed like She-Ra. Oh, I love it so much. I love the joke of it was the 80s, making fun of not wearing your bike helmets, but also the importance of reflecting on how you're behaving. And even grandma's sitting there just being like, this kind of works as your own timeout. Like, you can be better than this. Also, confirm your lore. Was that Chili or wasn't it? I'm team it's Chili. Everyone sound off in the comments. I'm team that was Chili. Even if that wasn't Chili, though, it was a wonderful little nugget of truth that the person he's becoming through this life lesson, this formative experience, he became the man who Chili fell in love with, became the dad we know him to be. I just loved it a lot. And just like how I wanted to start this list with Sleepy Time, I also want to end this list with Sleepy Time. This is simultaneously the warmest and most devastating episode. I feel like talking about Sleepy Time at the beginning and the end encapsulates my experience watching Bluey. There's something very warm about its messages and tone at times, but also something very heartbreaking. It's simultaneously who you want to be and how you wish you were treated. I love seeing these characters struggle and overcome human obstacles in a creative way. Sleepy Time lifts me up emotionally and destroys me. The silly hardships of trying to get to sleep, the shifting of the beds and the sacrifices we make, but also those sacrifices begetting the goal of being that warm, comforting place, wanting to cultivate as positive and nurturing of an experience as possible. There's times where obviously Bluey isn't going to always be realistic or always hit the mark for an individual or a group of people, but the sentiment at the end of the day of doing your best and trying to understand. I think Sleepy Time is my favorite Bluey episode, and it fills me with tears as much as it fills me with joy and comfort. Like I said, I still struggle with my sleep, and I remember my mom taking a broken clock and saying, when this clock looks like this clock and you're still awake, come get me and I'll read you another book. And it just made me think of that. Or my grandparents reading to me when I couldn't sleep. It was just really helpful to kind of reflect on all of that. I don't know. I hope if nothing else, this video, for anyone who watches it, it normalizes that concept for you. So yeah, there you guys go. That's every episode of Bluey that I have access to, ranked by emotions. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget, like I said earlier, to like and comment. I want to know your guys' opinions, not only on my takes from the show or my thoughts or my jokes, but also on this format. If you'd like to see it on other shows I've covered in the past. Don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell and all that good stuff. Like I said, I'll have fundraising streams updates on the community tab shortly once I get all that figured out. But I really loved this show. I'm glad that I took the time to do this without filming myself, with like including little snippets of reactions and stuff. It was nice to take a little break. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope everybody's staying safe. Again, just like every video and stream, there's a link in the description, not only to donate for Thankmas or to check out my streams on my gaming channel for Thankmas Bill Chill Gaming. There's also a card there that'll send you to resources for social awareness and education, mental health and crisis lines, Trevor Project resources, things like that, should you or someone you know need them. I hope to see you next time I upload or go live. Hope everyone's staying safe. I hope you're staying warm if it's cold. Wear a mask if you go out. Be mindful of others. And remember to take care of yourselves, please.